Hello, happy folks. I hope you guys are having just an absolutely amazing day today for you folks. So today we're taking a look on Video Game Wednesday. I'm doing a lot of older RPGs and that sort of a thing. I recently did the Pool of Radiance because I had Pool of Radiance weekends. Also reviewed the novelization and that sort of stuff. I like to do older reviews of video games and that sort of a thing. And so I started, I recently did Planescape Torment. I did Evil Genius 1 from 2004, right? Other stuff from the 90s like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 from 99, and that sort of thing, all the way up to more recent things too that might be lesser known indie games like Golftopia from 2021. All right, so there you go. So I'm started reviewing the Baldur's Gate series. Started last week with Baldur's Gate 1. I thought this week I would do my review of Baldur's Gate, the Extended Edition DLC, Siege of Dragonspear, and the next couple of weeks I'll do Baldur's Gate 2 and 3. For you folks, all right, so let's get started. So this is released on March 31st in 2016, nine years ago. It was made by Beamdog Studios and published by them too, unless it was the console edition, but I played the PC version. But that was actually published by Skybound Games. All right, so this was directed by Tret Oster, and it was written by Ambler Scott, Andrew Foley, and Liam Else. It was rated on Steam by users at just 68%, a little low. Metacritic is a little higher. It's about 10 more. It's 9 more. It's 77%, and that sort of thing. But remember, Metacritic is the overall score ranked, right? It's not like whether or not they liked it like players would, like Rotten Tomatoes would be, right? So those would be comparable. So that's scores a little higher at 9 more, but that really means that critics liked less more. I'm more of a critic here than I am a fan, just as it. So this expansion is set between Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and continues the story. You can move your characters to it and then from there to Baldur's Gate 2. It's available for $20. I found it on GOG and Steam. I'll link it to you below. Its gameplay is similar to Baldur's Gate 1, right? You're just exploring, doing some stuff, fighting battles, leveling up, doing the good stuff. There are some more areas that are introduced, some more NPCs, companions that are introduced, and that sort of thing, as well as lots of new items, like tons of new items, and then also a new class called the Shaman, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, so to the north of Baldur's Gate, a lady has started a crusade, and her name is Kalar Argent, and she's known by her followers as the Shining Lady, and that sort of thing. So her followers think that she's doing good and justice, and that sort of thing, but it's rumored that she's a ball spawn like you and Sarah back from the previous game, and that sort of thing. It begins a few weeks later with your party hunting down the remnants of Sarawak, and then she brings in an army south and begins to threaten. So you're going to be sent to go take care of her, including the siege proper. So I think this game never really had a great chance to stick with fans. I just don't know they ever really truly gave it a fair shot. For example, the first one it's not made by the original studio, right? Beamdog took it over and it's an expansion to not even the original game, but to the extended version which they had the rights to. Sort of thing. So the fact that it was not even made by the original studios, right, but made by the person who currently owns the rights and it's an expansion, right, and that sort of thing. So that's the first reason. Many people also attacked the writing as not being up to the original games too. Then the fact that a background character is a transgender character, just says that, but you only find out if you ask them their backgrounds and that sort of information, and they're a total background character. They're not like a member of your party or anything like that, or a field fight, right? And they don't start off by saying, "Hey, I'm a transgender. How you doing today?" Right? They don't tell you, but yeah, I have to ask them a bunch of questions before you get that information, right? And that sort of a thing. But that fact really annoyed a lot of people too. And also just the fact, that this was a DLC set between two beloved genre-defining RPGs. Right, there were 10 out of 10s, easily. And beloved by critics, and sold tons, right? It means that I'll always be compared to it unfavorably, right? So I played it twice. It's stable, it's epic, it's fun, it's got, I think it levels up. Because now you've taken out the ball spawn, but now after taking them out, you now have to have a more epic sort of a journey, fighting against an assault and a siege of Dragonspear Castle and that sort of thing. I think it's good. I think it's good stuff. I think it levels up the playing field, and it does answer a lot of bells. Where did these various things happen? And that sort of thing. But I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's an incredible sort of a revelation, right? That sort of thing. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I would be a little bit more than Steam fans to give it 68%, but those are just the ones that liked it. I do like it. But I would be closer, but I'd be a little less than the Metacritic at 77%. I think it's 70% is fine. I think it's good stuff. Alrighty, and so there you are. Again, we'll see you next week for Baldur's Gate 2 for you folks. Now, have you played this game? And if so, let me know what your thoughts are about it, the expansion, and that sort of thing, because I'd be happy for you to kind of talk about it with you in the comments below, whatever your thoughts are. Happy to engage with you further. Also, as a reminder, like I mentioned, I'm doing Video Game Wednesdays. I also do a couple of Let's Plays a week. I was doing the movies when we started with Evil Genius 1 today because the noise wasn't working. So you can check that out too. All typically older games that might not have been as well played, and that sort of thing. So we'll see what happens if people are interested in it. So that's getting posted today too. And then again, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, there's tons of these older video games here, so you check them out too. On Monday, I do reviews of older RPGs or war games like BattleTech or Dungeons & Dragons and that sort of thing. Right now, I've just recently started doing a lot of modules and that sort of thing. I started off reviewing things like the G1 series by Gary Gygax from 78 and first edition Dungeons & Dragons all the way up through the Q1, that beloved series. I also did L2 and L1, the Assassin's Knot, and by Leonard Kafka and that sort of thing. And then I've also done a lot of other things out there too. I'm currently doing the B series and Back Me, and I just finished a B6, The Veiled Society. So you can check that out. The next will be B7, which is Rahatio, one of my favorite lower levels. Modules of all time. Definitely one of my top 10 modules of all time too. It may be less on the top 10. Alright. And I think it's by Tracy Hickman. So he's a classic guy, right? Everybody loves Tracy Hickman, right? This is the one that put Ravenloft on the map. He uses a lot of its successes. And then on Saturday, I do something called Serial Saturday that I dedicate to the forgotten storytelling methods of movies and TV serials and that sort of thing that we might have forgotten about. So from TV stuff, I've done the first 2 seasons of Doctor Who from the 60s. And under the first Doctor era, Black and Whites and William Hartnell. I've also done a lot of TV movies from Flash Gordon to Buck Rogers. I just recently did a couple of Tarzan serials that are extant and they still exist. And now I just did a Flying Pulp. And I just did, so check those out too. And the Flying G-Men, I just did like the 2.5 long one. It's called, I think it's called The Mobile. It's versus Spy King, and I'm trying to remember the first name. Basically, all these radar stations. It's Radar Patrol versus Spy King, I think. And then it's that, and then also lots of fun stuff like that too. I think I'm going to be doing Zora, the Zora series next. Just heads up. So if you like his older things, check them out too. And then on Friday, top 10s things I've done top 10s, typically movies, but recently, but lots of top 10 independent films, films, foreign language films, action films, sci-fi, fantasy, and horror films too. Because the genres just covers, channel covers too, lots of those. And such, but I've just recently I took 5 weeks off to do my top 10 musical artists and albums, and then my top 3 comics, movie series, and authors. And now I'm back, but I'm doing best ofs. I did my best of Star Wars. Those 11 films were ranked, and then I ranked all the 11 Star Trek shows, and now I'm going to be ranking all the Star Trek movies this week. And then I do 3 reviews a week of the older things, like I mentioned before, the genres that we cover: science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Older things that you read and that sort of thing. And so if those 7 older reviews or let's plays of older games and that sort of thing sound like your cup of tea, then welcome to the channel. Have a seat. I think you might enjoy your time here. So take your shoes off. And please do all the YouTube stuff, like hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon if you're feeling frisky to be notified of those videos a week. And also, let your friends know too. But basically, watch and share. Those are the key ways of growing the channel. Alrighty, and so there you are. As you can tell from those 7 older things that I'm doing each week, right, and that sort of a thing. And as you can tell from those older things, you can tell that's where the passion, right, of this channel comes from. It's also where its name comes from, too. The worst thing about new books. That's a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was they kept us from reading the old ones, right? This definitely is more stuff I forgot about, right? And our passion for the new stuff, not that they're bad, right? But on the passion for the new novel, the new video game, in today's case, or the new movie, right? And that sort of a thing. Oftentimes forgotten that these are standing on the shoulders of giants. So let's check out those giants, right? And that sort of thing. All right. And so there you are. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing in watching my video, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions too. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.